Hey everyone, it's Puff. Recently I just changed my name of the channel to Pathfinder TCG rather than the original Pokemon Pathfinder, because I realized if you include the name Pokemon in your channel name, there's a chance that if the PCI, the Pokemon Company International, if they decide to go after these people who are using their name, maybe they can claim and maybe they can even get your channel cancelled. So then I thought, that's the reason why I changed it to Pathfinder TCG. But no other reason. I didn't get into any trouble, anything like that. But I just thought it's better to be safe, so I just make a switch. But there's no difference in the type of content that I will make. I'm still mostly, almost entirely focused on Pokemon. And today I thought I wanted to talk about TCG investing, create content for beginners, because there are many people who actually just started. I went into this really hard, and I have my previous experience in my job and also in the investing scene. So I didn't start from scratch. I didn't start from zero. I was able to learn many of these things quite quickly, because actually many of the fundamentals they share across the different types of investment. So I wanted to make a new series over here, maybe just a few videos to really go deeper into a few of these things. So what exactly are we talking about? For those who are new, if you look at Pokemon TCG product, especially in terms of sealed product, you will see that there are many different types of products, and there are many different sets, many different series, many different eras from 1996, 1998 until now. Next year is the 30th anniversary, so you can imagine within the 30 years there are many things out there. It's really important that we know what they are. And the second topic that we are briefly touching today is about how to research the market. The third one is about timing your purchases. I think this is really important, and I'm going to share some personal experience as well. And the fourth one is risk management and diversification. The last one is most important and not often talked about, planning your exit strategy. This one is a must. So before you jump in, you got to have a plan. When are you planning to exit? I think that's really important. So let's jump to the first one, understanding product types. Alright, I'm just going to show you here. If I'm using Pokedata, is one of the sites that I often use for my videos, because they are pretty complete. Generally, they are pretty good, and I like some of their features, so I continue to use them, especially the graphs and all that. But if you scroll down over here, the more recent English set, the most recent, I'll say, you can see that even if it's just one set, there are many different products. You have the ETBs, you have the binder collections, you have the mini teens, poster collection, and so on and so forth. Before that, we have Destined Rival. This is a set where it's a main series, so they have actually booster boxes, and you have the bundles, you have the ETBs, just as the before. But you also have 3-pack blisters, you have premium collections over here, you have the Mewtwo EX box, other different collection boxes, many items. And before that, you have Journey Together, which is in April. And even before that, you have Prismatic Evolution from January onwards. So you can see just one page this does not even cover everything we have since the beginning of the year. Even the second page, you can see more things on Journey Together, blister packs, and other things. You have different stacking tins as well, more tins which you don't even know what pack is inside, and then more Prismatic Evolution stuff. Finally, we got into a Surging Spark. This was last year. Yeah, so as you can see, there are many different things out there that you can buy into, and they do not all perform the same way. I think this is the reason why we have to understand what is what and which one is actually better. In terms of the main sets, I will definitely suggest going with booster box if you can. This has been mentioned and said by Pokemon investing content creator out there. They have said the same thing. That's what I have learned as well with my own experience, that booster box indeed is the best way to do this if you really want to do it in the long term. If you have enough budget, booster box is the way to go. I will explain why in a little bit. But if you look at all this from, let's just look at Sword and Shield base onwards. This was the previous era Sword and Shield. So you have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 sets with booster box, and you can see that the price is actually pretty widely different. So Sword and Shield base 480 at the moment, and the cheapest one is Battle Style right now. I think probably Darkness Ablaze is around, and Vivid Voltage is around the same range. And then you have the slightly better one like Rebel Clash, Astral Radiance. Silver Tempest actually is doing pretty well at the moment. And then you have the next level where you have the Chilling Rain, your Sword and Shield base, your Brilliant Star. And then the next level is like Lost Origin, Fusion Strike, where we are going to $600 to $800. And the highest one, of course, is Evolving Sky. This is quite an outlier. So normally we do not have this in every single era. It is not typical that something that is within 4 years old is worth more than $2,000. This is not normal at all. So please do not take this as a standard, and do not expect one of these box will perform exactly like this in another 3 to 4 years time. So if you look at the Scarlet and Violet era, you will also see that there are, I think at the moment there are 10 of them, including Destined Rival. The price at the moment actually is pretty similar. So this is actually a critical time, because how do you know then, within the next 3 to 4 years, which one will, leapfrog the rest? And at the moment, Paldea Evolve is the one that's performing the best. And Destined Rival, obviously, I've mentioned a few times, and in my previous video, I think 2 videos ago, I was also saying, is Destined Rival the one that leave everybody at the back and, just go ahead and leapfrog everybody? But who knows, because this set is way too new. This is only out for about 2 months, actually, 2.5 months. So yeah, it's a long way to go between now and, the next 2 years. Many things that can happen in between. So it's very difficult to say. Definitely, I will say that booster boxes is the product to go to if you have enough budget. Most of this at release will be going for about somewhere between $130 to $200. In the past, like last year, you could have gotten all this within $120 for most part of the year, all the way until December, even in Singapore. But right now, it's very difficult. About ETB, there are some people who actually, at least when I was talking with the shops that I normally support, I always see people walking in and they were asking about ETB and for the main sets as well. So in my mind, I was thinking, this person is probably making a mistake, because the reason I suspect is because it is not easy to find booster box out there, but ETB you can still find them, even though in Singapore it's not cheap in terms of getting ETB compared to in the US. That's what I realized. But the entry price is also a lot lower, because here in Singapore you can get them for like maybe 80-90 Singapore dollar for ETB. But if you're looking at booster box, most places are selling close to at least 250 and above. So for them, the entry price is easier if they want to dip their toe into like investing. ETB is, for many people, is where they would start. Again, there are many different ETB, but honestly, the ones that I will recommend getting if you are really wanting to collect ETB are the specialty sets like Prismatic Evolution, the Black and White, and even Shrouded Fable, Paldean Fate. But why is it that I say Shrouded Fable? Many people probably will shock and will shake your head when I was talking about Shrouded Fable ETB, even though Shrouded Fable is not a fan favorite, I would say, and maybe most people will probably say that it's like the last thing that they will buy or invest in. But the fact is that if you look at the prices in the last 10-20 years, almost everything goes up. Let me just show you over here. Right, let's just go back a little bit. If we just look at ETB, not looking at any other things, not even the booster boxes, you will see that most of them, including this Sun and Moon base, which actually not many people like them, and Guardian Rising, Burning Shadow, they all actually went up, even the worst ones, Crimson Invasion even. So at the moment, I'm not buying Shrouded Fable, but I was able to get them at a pretty good price, like 40 something USD. So it's not all bad, and it's probably close to the cost price that we can get them in Singapore. So I have faith, I would say, at least in the next few years, it's gonna go up, even though not by much, but at least I know I won't be losing much. So there's not much of a downside over there, so I'm not too afraid. And also because Shrouded Fable is a set that does not have booster box, these are specialty sets, so the best alternative you can get is actually the ETB or the booster bundles. But ETB typically as a collection is a little bit more favorable compared to booster bundle, unless you are looking to rip them. So that's about the product type. Now we are moving on to researching the market. To me, I think the best is to look at some of these sites that actually, or visit the shops. That's even better. I'm just gonna highlight a few. Project EST is one that I heard was actually doing pretty well, and Neutral, I actually visited them before, and I think they are doing all right for at least for the customer. They are not selling at a cutthroat price as compared to some other shops that I know. It looks expensive, and of course, but in the shop actually they do have some loose packs that is quite reasonably priced. And one other shop that I frequent in the past is this one, War Games. Unfortunately, at the moment, their prices are really expensive, so I cannot recommend them at the moment. But at least they have something in stock if you really want to buy, to rip, to try things out. So this is somewhere you can get some items. They have some Stellar Crown. It's not too bad, slightly above MSRP, but they have stock. Yeah, Surging Spark Booster Bundle as well. Not the cheapest, but at least they have something there. Another place that I like to do my market research in is actually Facebook groups. For me personally, I use this one, Pokemon SG, Pokemon TCG Marketplace. Yeah, I mean, they are probably one of the biggest in Singapore, but I know there are a few, so you choose which one you prefer. At the moment, this works pretty well for me. I have bought some things from the group before, and I've sold quite a few things on the group before as well. So at the moment, not much of an issue, but of course you can try some other groups. How do I do my research there is to just look at some of these sell posts. I'm trying not to show people's name and their user group and all that, their usernames. But there are people who actually sell many things. I think this one is most likely import from the US, and they also show the prices that they're selling at. So you can take this as a reference, and if you can do better than them, then it's more likely that other people may approach you to buy from you. And then you can also see what's the going rate at the moment and whether they are actually selling at all. If it doesn't sell, that will give you an idea that this price is probably too high in Singapore, or at least the market right now is nobody actually wants to buy this at the moment. But when you see that when there are posts like this and everything goes, everybody is buying even though it's expensive, that could give you a signal that maybe if it may be a good time to put some things in the market. So that's how I usually do my market research as well. And of course, I'm actually already going a little bit onto the third one, timing your purchase and your sales, because timing your purchase is pretty important. I'm just going to show you one or two very good examples. The first one is Celebration ETB. I think if you follow many of the other investment channel or people who are into Pokemon TCG investing, many people already mentioned, like Danny Phantom and all that, saying that Celebration is going crazy, and it's the truth. So at the moment they are going for more than $200 in the open market. But I also want to bring your attention to just last year, same time last year, like exactly 1 year ago, they were only going for $80. But what is more important is also this set is actually released in 2021, and you can see that from 2021 to all the way up to last year, end of last year, it is pretty much flat, like $50, $60, $70. Is really negligible, the growth, until end of last year, where it started to really pick up. So this is very important, because when should you buy your product? It really depends on the market, whether it is at the moment. It is very difficult because this you probably will not see a lot. Like Black Bolt and White Flare is a little bit like this. When they came out was 100, actually pretty close to this price, I think. At the moment is probably around here, right, for Black Bolt and White Flare. And will it go slightly even lower? Possibly, especially if they come out with a huge wave of reprints, then I would say that it's very likely. Then that could be a good time to pick it. So Celebration is a very good case study, I would say, and of course because in 2022 and 2023 it's actually quite a bearish market in terms of Pokemon TCG. So this is also something we have to take into consideration. We are in a totally different market at the moment, so we may not see the same thing happening, but it is important to know that this is very, very possible. So do not FOMO and immediately just buy during release, because we do not know what is the price direction, right? There's a possibility where it will go up, like Destined Rival booster box, maybe, but there's also another chance that they may go, you know, from within the few months, drop like almost 50%, from $122 drop to $50, $60. So it's very, very possible. This is something that we always have to take into consideration. Fourth one is about risk management and diversification. This is very, very important, and I actually made another slides to talk about this. It is very important that I cannot stress enough to spend within your means. If we are talking about investment, we always have to remember this is not bread and butter. We are not making a business out of this, and we are not looking at, you know, flipping everything immediately. If we are just looking at it as an investment, this whatever amount you put into this has to be able to be put aside, and you must be comfortable to like the third point I write over here, to be ready to hold for years, for many years sometimes. Like the example I just gave you, Celebration ETB. If you have, you know, bought at the top of the market at the beginning, like $120, and if you were not ready to hold it, you will probably be losing money, right? If when it drop and you suddenly need the money, let's say if you're a case of it, then you say, this is rubbish, it's not going to go up anytime soon, so you just sold it and you have lost the money, rather than if you are holding it until now, you would have made back the whatever you have invested and then some. This is something that I cannot stress enough. If you are actually investing, this money that you put in, it has to be something that you are comfortable just letting go and letting it sit, because even though Pokemon is doing very well at the moment, is really very, very bullish, and I don't think it will last forever, and yeah, no market will go up forever like this. And in fact, there are many people already saying that, you know, the bears may be coming back soon, but who knows, right? Nobody knows what's going to happen in the next 1 to 2 years. Yeah, we have to be ready for that, and it is important that you diversify, not just diversify within Pokemon. I would say even you have to diversify and invest in other things. I hope you have a full-time job, you know, at least your income is stable. You have some income, you don't have to rely on, you know, Pokemon money for your meals. And then it will be good to also invest in some other more traditional thing. Like I invest in, you know, S&P, even though I'm in Singapore. There are ways to do that. I max out my savings account in the retirement account for CPF. So that's another things that I do to secure my future before I even put more money into Pokemon. That's what I did. It's important to do that so that if anything happens, if, you know, one day maybe Pokemon really goes to zero, everything is worthless, at least you don't lose everything, right? And the last point is about planning your exit strategy. This is very infrequently talked about, and I think it is almost like a crime if you are talking about Pokemon investing but you don't talk about selling. There are many people who say that you hold it until you need it, but I don't think that's the best way to do it. It is maybe a good way if you really do not need the money and income is so high that you don't have to think about selling some of these things. When you really need the money, you don't have to touch them at all until you really retire, then that's well and good. But if you are really trying to sort of maximize your profit or maximize your return in terms of this investment, you definitely need some kind of planning in place. In one of my other videos, I think maybe a few months back, I actually went through some of this, my thought process about when and how a few different ways that you can do it, like selling from the third year onwards, fourth year or the fifth year. How will the return look like? And if you are doing based on the current market price, how does it look like? And my actual cost, how does that look like? And also, these are the thought process you have to go through. Maybe do your own research. I did it my way. Your way may be a little bit different for me. I would really start looking at, liquidating some of them, maybe part of them, maybe a third of them, maybe half of them. I'm not sure. Like I said, I made some arbitrary assumption, and then I try to see how it affects the return. And then from there, I can make a little bit better informed decision. Of course, I cannot control the price. I do not know where it goes, but at least I have a brief idea of how it will look like, in the next 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. If I'm going to do that, at least I have some kind of plan, because if you can do this, if you start selling down some of the things, you can fund your investment in the future. Let's say if I'm starting to sell next year, then I can use the return to use it to buy in the newer product, assuming I can still get them at a good price from my supplier. Then I will use that, so at least I will not touch my my other income, and the income from my regular job. I can use it somewhere else, either for my kids or for the other investment. So these are things that you really have to think about, because it's not as simple as just just spending the money and keep it in the shelf and just don't look at them. Of course, that is the most simple way to do it, but if you really are thinking about trying to not make it too complicated, but at the same time you want to increase the return, slightly higher return, and keep it a little bit safer, then you have to put in a little bit more work, right? So yes, that's all I have. I think the 5 things I mentioned, I didn't want to make this a very long video, but unfortunately it's very difficult to keep it short. But in summary, the most important thing I think you have to do is really consider your situation. And for me, I'm in Singapore, so the thing that is available and accessible to me here, it will be very different from what is accessible to you if you are in different part of the world. Even if you are also in Singapore, my situation is different because I have a full-time job. I have been working for many years. I have some spare cash lying around. I have my CPF fully funded in the retirement account, so I'm not afraid to take a little bit of risk. But if you're not like me, you're not in the same situation, your consideration will be very, very different. So I hope this helped. I think I will dive a little bit deeper into a few of these topics in the future, and make it a mini series. Hopefully, if anybody asks me, oh, how do you plan to sell, then I can refer them to 1 or 2 of the videos that actually talks a little bit more about this, so that I don't have to keep repeating the same thing over and over again. But at the same time, I think it's a good mental exercise for me. I like doing things like that help me think through what I wanted to say, but at the same time also do my own research, which will help me as well. So yeah, I hope you gain something from this. See you in the next one.